right in the kisser.
Yeah, the devil are you? Why are you on a... Look at this. So we have today the SMSL RAW. Yeah, it's not cooked, it's raw. Okay, it could be RAW, I don't know. RAW, a HA1, all-in-one amplifier. So it's a Bluetooth streamer, it's an amplifier, desktop amplifier, plus a DAC. Ooh, very interesting. Now, we better get this thing out of the box. Before we have a little play around with it and the amp, let's look at the features and the specs. So it says it has a new digital high power amplifier chip from Infineon, bit different from some of the others. Germany, higher quality with high efficiency, low power consumption. It's got JRC's electronic volume control chip NJW1194. That means nothing to me. Apparently it gives you precise volume control and ultra low distortion. Sweet! Still flogging a dead horse here with supporting a MQA, but look, at least it's there for people who still use it. Third generation XMOS XU316, PCM support 32-bit up to 768 kilohertz, and DSD support up to DSD 256. Got the latest Bluetooth. Kind of. It's the latest Bluetooth in terms of 5.2, but not the latest codecs, because obviously you haven't got aptX lossless or anything like that. But to be fair, there's not many devices with aptX lossless on them anyway. So there you go. It's using the latest audio decoding chip, the CS43131 by Cirrus Logic. Now, I haven't heard a Cirrus Logic chip before, but I believe that this chip is also the DAC and the amplifier for the headphone, I believe. It sort of doubles up, got dual duties. So it'd be good to hear that. An all aluminium alloy CNC precision processing shell. I think that's the way it's cut. I don't know if that's any better than laser, I'm not sure. User-friendly operating system, hi-fi components, enhanced high quality gold plated terminals, blah, blah, blah. Right, let's have a look at some of the specs. So total harmonic distortion plus noise is 0.003%, pretty good. Signal to the noise ratio, 110 dB, again, pretty good. So specs so far, pretty good. Output power into 4 ohms, 165 times 2, and into 8 ohms, 85 watts. That's plenty of power for me. I don't need it much more than that. There's a compatibility with Windows up to Windows 11, Mac, OS X, and Linux. MQA decoder is, you can get it through USB, optical and coaxial. MQA CD decoder there, blah, blah, blah. So we got the bit depth up to 32-bit on USB and up to 24-bit on coaxial and optical, and sampling rate is up to 768 kilohertz. We've said that before. Optical is up to 192. Bluetooth spec, we've seen that. SBC, boo, rubbish, get it off. And there you go. Oh, there's a remote control there. There we are. Cool. Takes 2 AAA batteries. And there's the front and back panel. And the instructions. Now, again, I bet you I won't hear any difference with these filters. Some people do, some people don't. I know you nothing. It's plus or minus 9 dB on the treble and the bass. And then we've got some equalizer. We'll be looking at this in a second. Outputs and inputs there. USB Type-C, Bluetooth, optical coaxial, HDMI ARC, auxiliary in via RCA. Right, here it is. I am running out of space a little bit on my desktop, so I've had to put the B07 on top of it, so ignore that, okay? Here's the unit itself. It's a good, solid, well-made unit. Great rubber feet on it, and I know it's a small thing, but you can actually push it and it doesn't slide everywhere on your desktop, so I like that. There's your headphone outputs here. I don't think they're balanced. I think they're single-ended. I can't see anywhere in the literature that says they're balanced outputs. But I put my headphones in. I've tried a couple. Sound great. I have got adapters for both of them. I think it'll power most headphones. Unless you have really hard to drive headphones, I think you should be okay. Right, let's have a look at the unit itself. So the volume button is here. Just one press turns it on. And the volume does feel really smooth, very responsive. So that's pretty cool. To get into the settings, you just press it once. There we go. And there you got your inputs there. So you can go through your inputs. I'm on USB Type-C at the moment. And you can just choose your inputs, whether Bluetooth, whatever. Okay. Then you got your outputs. Outputs are to change between headphone and speakers. So you get your headphone there and headphones there and speakers there. Okay, let's put it back, leave it on speakers. Then you got your PCM filters, fast roll off, slow fall off, phase minimum, and all that nonsense. The ones I can never hear the difference at all. I'm sure some people with better hearing maybe can hear a difference. I can't. Anyway, let's leave it on that one. Then you got your equalizer. So you got direct tone. I think that's super dynamic bass, that is. Then you got bass, then you got super bass. But I do think that the super dynamic bass actually boosts the treble a little bit, and maybe even the mids. I did like the SDB. I thought it sounded pretty cool, especially if you don't have a subwoofer. Then you got rock, soft, clear. There we go. I'll leave it on direct at the moment. Then you got your tone controls, treble and bass. And I'm not sure if I mentioned earlier, they're plus and minus 9 dB. There you go. Okay. And then you got your FN key. Now I think this is to change it for the remote if you want to shortcut either to your outputs or to your Bluetooth, your FN there. I think that's what it's for. Got the FN on there, look, boink. I'm going to leave it on outputs for now. Then you got a user interface style. So I just press that there, and I've got it set on graphics at the moment. So you can either have it at graphics, so that's this style here with the graphics on the side, or you can have it universal, which is this one. There you go. So it's that. I'm not sure about you. I prefer the other style. I think the other way. Okay, that's probably a bit more clearer to read, I'd imagine, but I do like the other way. So I'm going to keep it on graphics. Then you got your language, dimmer, and this is so at the moment display is always on, but you can set it to 60 seconds. If it's not being used after 60 seconds, it'll switch itself off. I'm going to leave it always on. Then you've got your brightness. I've got it set to the lowest brightness at the moment, simply because the camera can't pick it up. I'll put it to maximum brightness and you'll see what I mean. The camera can't see what's on here, so I have to put it to all the way down there so the camera can pick it up. Then you've got a reset button there. And there you go. So far, so good. I'm impressed with what I've seen. I also like the fact that it's all in one. So if you've got it as a desktop, like I have got it set up here, you don't need a separate DAC and an amplifier. So you're saving space. Plus, you don't need that big power brick hanging off the back because the power is built inside it. So therefore, you're saving a little bit of space and a little bit of clutter. So that's handy. But more importantly, how does it sound? And more importantly again, how does it sound against a DAC and an amp combination? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sound test and put it up against my Duke Audio P1 Plus DAC and my AIMA B07 amplifier. There'll be no subwoofers involved, okay? And I'm going to be using the direct mode on the SMSL, no tone controls, and the tone controls on the AIMA B07 will be set to 0 dB to make it a fair comparison. Anyway, without further ado, let's have a listen to this. So what do you reckon on that? Well, I'm not going to give my opinion yet. You can let me know in the comment section, because I had a light bulb moment, okay? And I thought, let's try it against my Leak Stereo 230 and see how it fares and see how it drives my Linton speakers, my Wharfdale Lintons. So anyway, so what I did, I connected it up to my Wharfdale Lintons via my CD player, my Pioneer CD player, which I reviewed a few days back or whatever. And I used the CD player as a transport only. So the amps were doing the work, the DACs and the amps were doing the work. So anyway, have a listen to this. So what do you think of that? Okay, now I'll give my opinion. Okay, so when it came to the League Stereo 230 and the DAC and the B07 combo, they both sounded quite a bit brighter, especially in the upper mid-range and treble. Whereas the SMSL was a bit more recessed in the treble, although the SMSL did have some good old bottom end grunt on it. I thought it wasn't like a loose bass, it was quite punchy, you know, very tight bass. But what it was presenting was really punchy, I thought. But the top end, it was a bit darker, a bit more recessed, a bit syrupy, okay, compared to the Duke Audio DAC and the League Stereo 230. I thought they were a bit brighter and a bit more forward. And it's probably because the ESS DACs, which the League Stereo has, and the Duke Audio, they tend to be quite bright and digitally analytical, I would say. So, and I've always liked that sound. So for me, it wasn't quite my cup of tea regarding the top. Everything else about it was really good. The mids were really good. The bass, oh, I loved it. But that treble wasn't quite bright enough for me. For other people, they may love it, okay? But here's the thing. You've got the tone controls. So you can either use the equalizer to sort out, you know, have a preset EQ. But I just used the treble and turned it up to +2 dB. And that solved it for me. Perfect, okay? Fun. So it wasn't much of a bugbear. When you've got tone controls, it doesn't really matter. Some people say, oh, you've got to listen to it direct, whatever. I love a tone control. So when I set the tone controls +2 dB on the treble, problem solved for me. Other people might like it as it is, okay? It's all relative to the person, isn't it? Now, it's quite an appealing prospect because, you know, you've got 85 watts of power, you've got quite a decent connectivity, a very decent amp. It's got HDMI, so if you want to put your TV in, you can as well. And I would say, sound-wise, when I turned up the treble a little bit, for me, was comparable to the League Stereo 230, which is 4 times the price. And also, I think this is selling for around 250, it says $250. I can only find it in dollars, but I think it's about 250 quid. It normally is. When you think about it, the League Stereo is over 1,000, League Stereo 230 is over 1,000 quid. And the Duke Audio DAC and the amp are probably around about that 250, 300 pound price point for the two of them. It's quite a good prospect, isn't it? You know, less clutter, whatever. So all in all, I think it's a really good all-in-one amplifier. Are there any downsides to it? I've got some little things that annoyed me, and I'm being quite pedantic here. I have to say, I'm being quite finicky, okay? The first thing is the power lead, okay? It needs to be longer. The power lead they provide is just 1 meter long. What's that, 3 foot, is it? 2.5, 3 foot. So it's too short. You haven't always got that option where the plug socket is right behind the amplifier. It's not on mine. I've got to stretch it across, okay? It just didn't work. So it was a bit too short for me. I had to put an extension on to make it reach. So I think it should be at least another 1.5 foot or another 0.5 meter in length. I think it should be a little bit longer, too short. And another thing is why on the RCA input, why do they just put red and white? SMSL kind of is their trademark to put black and black in left and right RCA channels. I don't understand why you would not put red and white. It just bugs me because when you're leaning behind, especially when you're getting older and your eyesight's kind of going, you're trying to go, where is it? And you're trying to see where the L and R is on the thing. If it was red and white, it'd be much easier. Anyway, but they're finicky things. Once it's plugged in, it's fine. It's just when you've got to change them out, it's a bugbear. And in my job, what I'm doing at the moment is changing things in and out all the flipping time. So I've got to put it all the way out, get right behind it, shine a light on it, put my glasses on. If it was red and white, it'd be a lot easier. But they are small things which some people wouldn't even care about, okay? But for me, it did bug me a little bit. But all in all, I'm very happy with it. It looks great, it's well built, it sounds good. All in all, even though I had to make a few adjustments to the EQ, some people might not have to. I think it's a very, very good prospect as an all-in-one. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I'll catch you in the next one.